Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. My name is Chigozie Eze. I bring you this wonderful YouTube program called Love RPG. Subscribe to it, follow our teachings, share to your loved ones. Thank you, God bless you. And there's a Love RPG channel in this TV. Will bring you on parenting, gospel, and relationship. Today we're talking on parenting, how to bring up your child. Our topic today is that how will you bring up your child in a decent way? Many people today, they'll be asking, sometimes they will even cry because of their kids. They will say, I've tried all my best, what I will do to make this child responsible, to make this child decent, yet he's going astray. This kind of life he's living is not in my lineage, it's not in my family, his life is different. Yet sometimes it's like that. But it's like that because you caused him for the child. I told you from the beginning, when you just deliver a child, the first thing you have to plan for the child is that the kind of life that you want him to live first. What kind of life do you want this child to live? Then you plan it down, and immediately you start installing it from that child. For highest at the age of 1 year, 6 months, you have started installing. See, let me tell you, a woman being is just like a system. When you is in a system, the program you store in a system, that is the program that is going to run for you. For example, if you don't have Microsoft Word in your system, you don't expect the system to come and give you Microsoft Word, or you come and open and package called Microsoft Word in your system if you have not installed it. So that is how in a woman be. What you store in your child, that is what he will give out when he grow up. That is why when you just have a child, the first thing you do is to plan the kind of life you want to store in him. When you store that life, so that when he grow up, he will grow with that particular life. That is why I tell you, at the age of 1 year to 3 years, you have to remove some spirit or some character from your child, and you have to put some. At that age, first thing you make in your child, first thing you make him is for him to have a listening ear to you. Not only for you, but every other person. Make him to have a listening ear to you. If your child have a listening ear, he listens to you, you make him to have a listening ear to you. Anything you tell him, that is what you do. Even if you grew up, that is why some people at their old age, at the age of 25, 30, they want to marry. If their mother or their parents say this person you're not going to marry, despite how you love the person, say my parents have not married, they'll back off from that relationship. That is how they brought that child. They brought up the guy from the age that he listened to everything that the parent says. That is what have been stored in that child. So the first thing you do for your child is what? For you to make him to have a listening ear to you. That is when you have removed like stubbornness, spirit of stubbornness, anger from him. The child more listening. So secondly, make your child to love you. Despite anything that will take you, anything that will cause you to make your child love you, make your child to love you. If you make your child to love you, it will be all these things will make you easy. Now, before you start learning a foundation for your child. That's why I always tell people, at the age of 9 to 10 years, you start caning your child. You stop caning your child and you stop beating your child. Don't be harsh on them. Be friendly to them. Even if they do something, calm down. To bring up a child, you don't bring up a child with anger. You don't bring up a child with you don't beat a child because what he did. You beat a child for you to correct him. Do you understand? So you bring up a child with the spirit of love, with caution. Do you understand? Some people, they beat their child, they beat their child as though it's pandemia. That is not good. That will make your child too much of beating and too much of anger to your child, or being brutal to your child. One, it will make him to lie for you. It will make him to be afraid of you. And if a child is afraid of you, it will never disclose any kind of secret. Even the thing is holding him on the neck, it will never tell you because he's afraid of you. But firstly, if you make your child your friend, any slight thing that happened to you, I'll be the first person that you commented. Daddy, oh mommy, look at this happened yesterday. Oh mommy, look at what this person did to me. Mommy, look at what this person tell me. Look at what this person tell me. And sorry, sometimes there is a mistake we make when our child come and tell us something. You beat that child, which is wrong. How did you expect him to come and tell you tomorrow? If your child did something and later come and tell you, instead of him to beat him, correct him. Tell him his mistake. That's why I tell you, you must have a relationship with your child. Having a relationship with your child is not a place of advice. Have a heart-to-heart talk with your child. Always create that room that you must be having a heart-to-heart talk with your child. Your child should be your best friend. Laugh with him, play with him. Make him to know that you're his friend. Make him to know that you can tell me anything. You see that child will dispose to you. Do you understand? So that is a part. Then another part of it is that, one, for you to bring up your child in a decent way, you have to steer them from friends. Totally friends. No friends. No best friend. He has a classmate, he's his classmate. This guy is my street boy. This guy is my street person, he's your street person. No friend. Because let me tell you, bringing up a child is just like a ground sowed a seed. When you sow a seed in a ground, anything can happen to that seed if you're not careful with that seed. That seed may not germinate, maybe because something fall on top that place that you sow that seed. If you don't go and remove that thing that fall on top that seed, it will not germinate. Even if the seed germinates and you're not careful with the grass that is germinating within that seed, the germination will die. That is how it is. So when you are sowing a seed in your child, when you are creating a foundation in your child, first thing you do is for you to remove anything that will kill that foundation or that seed that you are creating. Because they say that the bad ones, they always corrupt the good ones. Bad manner always corrects the good manners. So what am I trying to say? You abstain your kids from friends. Let me tell you, ask a question. 85% of people that is a smoker today, ask them a question. They will tell you they learn smoker in the place of friends. Either they start smoking because they want to feel belong among their friends. Their friends are smoking, so they want to feel belong within their friends. Or they will tell you that my friend gives to me, or my friend forced me to smoke it. Ask those teenagers that's into a relationship today. 75% of them, they go into relationship through the conviction of what? Of their own friends. Do you understand? Some of them go into relationship through the first time they go into relationship to a boy through their own friend. Maybe they start dating their friend brother. So because of all these things, for you to monitor your kids very well, and that seed is so for you to water it and make it grow up and become what you want to be, you abstain your kids from making friends. I know some people will say, there are some friends that is good. Chamaka is a very good girl. I have not seen him. Don't think about it, because there are some kids that when they come to the parents of others, they will pretend they are very good, but when they get back, they will do the worst. And let me tell you something. If your child is behaving, having one character, he will not display that character in your before you, but you'll be doing it outside, but you will not display it in your front until a particular time when you have done it for long before you notice it. So that is how it is. If a child or a bad child is having a bad character, you as the parent of his friend, you will try to be decent before you. And one thing, that there are so many parents that are very good in covering evil. When the child do something, they will try to cover it up. All those things is one of the things that do what? That corrupt kids. All those things is one of the things that you put in your child. Tomorrow you'll be asking him what is it? Let me tell you, just for example, do you see how small that seed is? It's very small. Let me use corn as example. Do you see how small the seed of corn is? Just throw it on the ground and leave it for some months. It will bring a very big corn. That is how it is. Just small that thing. Do you know that just a word you speak before a child That word may deposit. That word may turn him to a thief tomorrow. Just a word. Do you know that just a word you speak before your child or somebody speak before a child will make that child, you will corrupt that child in entire life. Devil is very fast and very, I don't know how to put it, in bringing up evil to people. No, bringing up good things is very hard, but devil is very easy. He did it very fast. You understand? So what am I trying to tell you? You abstain your friends from child, you make your friend, you abstain your kids for friends, and you make your kids your friend. Have a room of heart-to-heart talk with your kids. Don't beat your kids very much. Hence, they have gone to the 9 to 10 above. Don't beat them much. Always advise them. Talk to them. Even though something happened that you notice, don't just call and start beating. What? No. Call that child. Sit him down. This thing I heard. See what did you do this? It's okay. We will explain to you. It's okay. I've heard you. I don't want you to do this thing again. Tell him that if you repeat this thing in future, look at what it's going to cost you. You see, let me tell you, a child you talk to like that, anything you tell him in that stage, he will never forget about it. That is why sometimes when they grew up, somebody will say, my father tells me that this is like this. Somebody will say, my mother tells me that this is like this. They put it, they harbor it in their head, they have it inside of them, and they will never repeat such mistake again. But when you beat a child in a particular thing, beating, you have not stopped it. He will not stop it. Do you know what you will do? He will start doing it secretly. And behold, that child will start having secret for you if you don't know. So when your child have grew up in a particular level, you find out that it's living a particular life. Maybe you didn't start early, you find out that your child is living a particular life. It's not beating. Don't be angry with him. You don't bring up a child with spirit of anger. You bring up a child with the spirit of love. Do you understand? You have seen a particular life that your child is living. Just keep quiet for the meantime. Maybe if you're angry, keep quiet. After some way, you must have, the anger must calm down. You call him and sit him down. Look at this thing you do. Look at this one. It's like this. This one is like this. This one is like this. Talk to him. Talk sense into him. That's why I say make your child your friend. If your child is not your friend, he will not listen to your advice. He will not listen to your word. So what am I trying to say? Your child will be your best friend and the first friend you have, and let your eyes be on your friends, on your child. All his movement, everywhere he goes. More especially your female child, don't allow them to go out anyhow. Allow them go anywhere they want to go. And when I'm going to Jamaica house, I'm going to this person's house, you allow him. I'm going to my class, you allow him to go and come back. No. You want to hold your child, let him be at home steady. Anytime that he's going out for a perfect reason. Your child should not go out from home that is going to visit his friend and allow him. No. Always be with your child. Let your eyes be with them. Talk to them. Advise them. Be their friends. Be sincere and truthful to them. You said be a good mother to them. You understand? So with all this, be able to put up your child in the position that you want it to put. There are some things that you will see sometimes. You will say is easy. Do you know that, for example, some people the first time they will get their child lie, they will keep quiet, they will laugh. No, it's just a child. There is nothing a child there. When your child lies, especially if you have grown to the age of 8, 9, 10 years, I don't ask you to beat him at that age. When your child have just tell lies, and you notice that he tell lies, don't worry. Keep him quiet for the meantime. Later, call him, say, listen, do you know I don't like lies? Don't lie for me. I will not beat you. If you do anything, tell me. If I have any correction, I will tell you. Even I know that you lie for me, I didn't beat you, so why would I beat you? I know it's a mistake, but I don't want that mistake to repeat himself again. Do you understand? That is when a child can stand up and say, I did this thing, my mommy will not beat me, but I know it's a mistake. Some people, they will do something, they say, I've died. They will even start crying before they will get home. Not because that thing is paining, but they are crying because of the kind of beating they will receive at home. You understand? So with all these ones, your child will be lovely and be friend to you. He will tell you a secret, and everything you tell him, will be in his mind. Any mistake you correct him, he will never make, he will never what? He will never repeat it again. Talk to him in every part of life. Advise him in every part of life. More especially those that have started living that life unknowingly to you before you notice that they have started living that life. You don't beat them anymore because that life is already in them. That spirit is already in them. You know what to do. What to do is now is for you to do what? Advise them. Talk to them over that life. Tell them the implication of that life. Tell them the bad side of that life they are living. What would it cost them in the future? That is why I told you, always create a vision and foundation for your child. When you create a vision and foundation for your child, always use that word. My dear, you say you want to become a medical doctor. You say yes. Do you know that this thing you did now, police can arrest you. Maybe when you do it, if you grow up, police can arrest you, put you in the jail for life years in prison. How will you become a medical doctor? Pinpoint to 2 or 3 people who have lived that kind of life that end up in jail. So person, he started just the way you started by, okay, let me just say that somebody steal. You tell him, okay, this person is not a thief before. He was telling lie. From telling lie, he starts stealing. Today is in jail, but this person, he said that he want to be this, he want to be engineer, but today is in the jail. How did you fulfill that engineership that you want to be? So is it how you want to end up your life? Talk to them, advise them, make them your friend, draw them closer and nearer to you, make them to love you, abstain them from friends. And another thing again is that when you're bringing up your child, even if you're rich, even if you have everything for them, try to make your child be economized. Because one thing again that mislead a child, if you didn't train a child to be very economized, to be contented with what he has, that is one thing that destroys a child, more especially a female child. When you train up a child, when the child is coming up, maybe because you're doing 1 or 2 business or money is flowing, you give him everything. You give him over things that somebody cannot give to his child. You give him, you pamper him. Wait, I'm telling you, a time shall come that maybe we may not have it abundantly to give to her again. She will look for somewhere to get it because that thing has been in him. You started it when he was very small. That is a foundation you learned from him. You started it when he was very small, so he must continue with that life. So even if you have it, that you bring up your child in a decent way, with contented way and economical way, so that anything he has will be contented to him. You will not be attracted to another person's thing. Do you know? Let me tell you that a child is a thief today. Your child is a thief because he's not contented with what you give to him or what he has. When your female child start earlier relationship, one again is because of lack of contentment. 75% of those little girls that are into relationship, that when they get pregnant out of wedlock, they got into that relationship because of 1 or 2 things that guys, those small kids, those boys may give to them. Buying small gifts or small things for them. They will trick them and bring them down. But when your child is contented, despite any gift you give to me, you don't care. Even if you don't have millions, you have a little. Even if I don't have the world, I have a little in my hand. I'm okay. Yes, because there's one thing my father told me. He says that anytime that what you have, what you don't have, you start admiring what you don't have, what you cannot afford for the meantime, you start admiring it, you're going to be you want to lead yourself into criminality. So as anything I know I'm not up to, I don't admire it until I grow to the stage I say I can afford it. That is when I start admiring it. So the first thing again you train up your child with is contentment. Contentment. You have to train up your child for him to be contented with anything he has. That will make him to be decent in times of moving around, destroying himself. That will make him to be contented in picking something, maybe he was stealing small something from his parents or from school or from anybody. The little you give to him is okay with it. So, but the first thing you do for your child makes him to have a listening ear to you. For you to make your child to have a listening ear to you, fourth thing I told you, you will take away the spirit of stubbornness from him and the spirit of disobedience. I've taught this in my first teaching, this parenting, how you will take away the spirit of disobedience in a child, the spirit of stubbornness, and the spirit of deaf ear. When your parents is talking to a child, you say, no, I will not do it. He will grow up with it. And bet me you, even when you're talking to him, will not listen. Listen, let me tell you, if your child don't have a listening ear to you, if you like advising from here to Jerusalem, will not listen to you. Because the way you bring up your child matters a lot. The foundation you learn for your child matters a lot. You will call your child, come. When he was very small, he said, Mom, you will look your child, you're calling, you will still sitting where you're sitting, and keep him quiet. He's a child. He's growing with it. Even the time shall come that when you call him, we will shout for him and call him, he will come. Not because he will obey you, no, because you know that you want to beat him. But the time shall come, if you feel that he have grown wind, it will continue where he stopped. That disobedience will continue it. So you stop it when he's a child. So you make your child to have a listening ear to you. Your child must have a listening ear to you. For you, first thing, that is the first thing. You creating a child. Try as possible means create this in your child so that you have a listening ear to him. So that anytime you advise him, anytime you talk to him, he will listen. Even when he grow old, if you call him and tell him, listen, do this, he will listen to you. Then you create a relationship of love, of mother, of parents and kids between them. Even when you saw your child living a particular life, you can stop him when he have a listening ear to you. But when you saw your child living a particular life that you don't like, if that child have a listening ear to you, he will not be able to stop him. If you too shout or too worry or too be brutal to him, he will start living that life secret before you. You will not know. He will say, okay, I've heard you. He will start living that life secretly. If you feel that you are disturbing him, he will start living that life secretly. One day, even though he's living in secret, one day the character or the life will still explode. Because there's nothing you do that is hidden under the sun. So my dear, what am I trying to tell you today? These are the ways you can bring up your child in a decent way. One, you step him from friends. Two, your eyes will be on him. I didn't ask you to that your eyes is on him. You start beating him. No, your eyes will be on him. Where he goes, when he come back, when he enter, things you do, movies he watch, things, even the phone that he use, sites that he used to go, his brother, everything about him. First, you will know it to correct him in everything that he's doing. That's why I often advise people this time that they should. And when the child is coming, she don't need other smartphone like that until at least you go to enter at least university. When a child is in secondary school, you give him a kind of smartphone, kind of phone that they can use to Google some certain things and see some certain things that is not good, and kind of thing. You understand? So your eyes will be on your child. Not everything that you do, everywhere he goes, people you mingle themselves with. You understand? You abstain him from friends because not the way you want to bring up your child is not the way the other person wants to bring up his child. The other person may have a vision to bring up his child in a good way, the other person may not have a vision to bring up his child in a good way. So the best thing is for you to abstain from them. So what am I trying to tell you? Your eyes will be on them. When your eyes is on them, you'll be able to do the perfect thing that you're supposed to do. So, my sisters, my brothers, you learn a good foundation for your child, for him to grow up with it. I will say, bring up your child where it should be, so that when you grow up, they will not depart from it. You make them to love you. You love them too. Direct them. Create a vision in them. Always remind their career. Remind it to them. My dear, you say you want to become a medical doctor. Is it this life you're living you want to be that will make you to become a medical doctor? My dear, you say you want to become a nurse. Don't you know a nurse that are decent? Like you say you want to become a banker. Why are you living this kind of life? Can it be? Always bring to them, tell them what they want to be, and always create a foundation in your child. Makes him to have a vision, makes him to have a focus, and make him to drive to his vision and his focus. Always push him to his vision and his focus. Remind him. Don't make him to be empty. Don't make him to have another focus or another kind of view. Make him to have a focus. Always remind him. Do you know that anybody that wants to become a medical doctor today must study hard? As of your age that you are now, you don't have to be having a relationship of a romantic relationship or that. You have to concentrate in your studies. Oh my dear, I don't want you to mingle yourself with friends, because friends are not good. Look at. I'm here for you. If you have any problem, come and tell me. I will solve it for you. Because I don't want you to have friends. Keep everybody, greet everybody, make everybody good to you. But don't keep anybody as your best friend. I don't want it. It will change your background. It will change your vision. Yes. Because if the corrupt one as friends come into your life, he will remove the good ones and he will sow a corrupt one. Let me tell you one thing. If you have a friend that is very corrupt and he comes close to you, if he comes close to you, before you notice it, you adopt one of his life. I know that corrupt life, for in earlier stage, it will always sweet. It's very sweet to the flesh. But at the end is destructive. Every corrupt life is very what? It's very sweet. If you're living any bad life, at the earlier stage is very sweet. But the end matters a lot. Where will it lead you to? Destruction. So always abstain your kids from friends, because you don't know who is who. You don't know who is good and who is bad. And you cannot stand and determine. Somebody may be good in everything, but 2 or 3 life you don't like, that person is living it and is a friend to your child. How do you think that your child will not live that kind of friend if it's your friend's child, if it's your friend to your child? So that is why you abstain your kids from what? From friends. So today we are ending up today. We thank you for listening to us. Follow our teachings. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I love you all. I love you so much. Follow our teachings. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share